Anybody know who Earl Nightingale is? So he was, I'll tell you, he was this radio show guy in the 50s. So was that 70 years ago or so? And he wasn't even young when he did it, but one of his little recordings, you can find it on YouTube, and it's called The Strangest Secret. And it was something he did on the radio, and thank goodness they recorded it. What he says in that little recording is that he starts off and he talks about if you take 100 young people, 25-year-old people, and you ask them, do they want to be successful in life? And they've all had the same amount of experience, education at 25. What do they say?
Yes.
Yes. Who at 25 says, nah, I'm good with being a failure, right? No, everybody says yes. So he says you follow those 100 people until the age of whatever he says, 60 or 62. And so many of them, so what percentage is dead? 10%, 15, 20% dead. And he kind of goes through 25% is on some kind of government aid. 25% has worked their whole life at a job they hated in order to get a pension that they can't live on, kind of thing. And 1% is successful. 1% out of that. So he says, you know, so what is the problem? What's going on? And the basis of it is that in a Nobel Prize winning person, I can't remember his name, some decades, a couple of decades before Earl Nightingale, answered this question in London, England, being interviewed. What is wrong with men? Remember, this was the 20s, 30s, 40s. What is wrong with women? Didn't exist. We really didn't. What is wrong with men today? And he said, men simply don't think. That was the answer. Men simply do not think. So that made me think. I thought, what do we think about? Because we're always thinking. That mind's always going. What are we thinking about? Random thoughts. Thinking about last night's ball game, tomorrow's weather, the traffic. Listen to what we talk about. Mm-hmm. That's what we're thinking about. That's not thinking. It's not what we're talking about. We're talking about thinking about what makes the universe the universe. What are the laws that govern the universe? How come some people are successful and some people are not successful? See, those are actual thoughts that need to be, come on in, pondered. Sorry, I'm late. It's okay. It's okay. You're never late if you're here. You're right on time. So the problem they stated was that we simply don't think. So I decided this week I would do some thinking. I'm on fire. Let's see how it goes for you, is the question. And I realized one of the things that we have not talked about in all these years together. Are y'all ready to go to the next level? Mm-hmm. Out to the edge. Okay, good. Because I'm ready to go there too. We haven't talked about some of the other laws. We talk as if law of attraction is the only law that exists. Mm-hmm. Lots of other laws. Law of attraction is actually a secondary law. It's not even a primary law. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. I know. So we're going to go through some laws. There are a lot of laws. I just picked some of them today to go through. And let me see. I actually wrote down this morning some things to talk about. So, Universal laws, right? I said AKA, rules for success. Who wants to be a success? Who wants to be a failure? Yeah, we want to be successful. Why aren't we successful? We don't know the rules. We don't know the laws. And we violate the laws as a result of not knowing what they are. If you don't know the speed limit and you just go 100 miles an hour, what happens? You get a violation ticket. There is a law, and we're going to look at it, called cause and effect. Cause and effect. We're going to look at that. Matter of fact, Ralph Waldo, I love him. He said, cause and effect is the law of laws. That if we start practicing that and we get that, the rest of the laws are just going to make sense and they're going to fall into place. So the first law is to get this. We got to get this. And most of us, we got this. Is the law of mind. Everything is mental. Everything is mental. Everything that exists in this universe is mental. It manifested via the mind, a mind. We got that? Mm-hmm. Let me look at my notes because I had something good to say about that. Oh, yeah. This is kind of a new thought for me. Because where do we think the mind is? The brain. Mm-hmm. We're wrong. Mm-hmm. We're wrong. The brain is not the mind. The mind manifested the brain. The brain and the sausage that I call it, but now I'm calling it cellular structure. The cellular structure, the apparatus we live in, was manifested via the mind. What is the mind then? Consciousness. Consciousness. Pure consciousness. Where do you think the universe came from? The mind. Consciousness. Consciousness. Consciousness is the ability to use the will to focus, to have intention for the purpose of creating. So when we're not even going to call them thinking random thoughts. When we're having random thoughts, who won the game? What am I going to have for lunch? What's the traffic? I'm not using focus and intention to create. I'm not doing what one teacher calls pre-paving or segment intending. I'm not thinking about what I want to create as I go about my day or my week or my year or this lifetime. Not doing it. I love this. The brain is nothing more than an electrical switching station. Mm-hmm. It's a switching station. That's all it is.
Exactly.
It determines our vibration. So, what switches in our brain? Electricity. What are thoughts?
Electrical.
They're electrical. They're currents of electricity. I want us to get then, it's important, because the rest of it doesn't really make sense unless I get this. That law number 1, they don't come in order, just to let you know. I put them in an order. Law of mind. Everything is mental. So everything that existed first in mind, in consciousness. Let me see what I wrote. So what do you think about? We talked about that. Most people don't really think. We talked about that. Oh, so here's the question I want us to ask throughout this whole time together. Am I in harmony with this law, or am I in violation of this law? To violate the law, these are laws of how the universe works. These are not man-made laws. These are laws so precise that our moon orbits a planet that orbits a sun that is in perfect proximity with other planets, in perfect proximity with other solar systems, in perfect proximity with other galaxies. We're not crashing together. These laws are so precise that we could calculate them in such a way to send a shuttle, a rocket, to the moon, bring it back, and land it exactly where we wanted to land it. These are the laws. These are not man-made laws. Man-made laws mean drive 55. Those are man-made. Those kind of laws. We're not talking, because those can be changed. These can't be, these are what they call immutable laws. Immutable laws. So, any questions about this law of mind, law of consciousness? Everything is consciousness, mind, manifested into physical. Before I do that, I want us to get this. If everything is consciousness and everything is mind, everything is energy. Everything is energy. This is energy vibrating at a certain frequency. Energy vibrating at energy. It looks like we're solid, doesn't it? Not to some of us. But it's not. It's all energy. Anybody ever played video games? Or seen somebody play video games? In a video game, typically there are levels in the game. To win or to be considered successful in the video game, we learn the rules. In order to jump over the wall, hit this button. In order to fly over the mountain, hit that. In order to that guy, hit this one, right? So there are all these laws, and once we have mastered those laws, we get to go to level 2. And then there's some more laws. And then we go to level 3. And then we become genius at that particular game, right? Well, this might come as a surprise to some of you. Welcome to the game. It's the only game in town. Welcome to the game called life. There are some rules. And if you master these rules, go to the next level. What's the next level? The level of becoming a powerful co-creator with consciousness. Co-creator with consciousness. You want to do that? I do too.